Inseminoid. Yeah, just saying that name makes me feel dirty. I am not a fan of rape films, and with this film being about aliens impregnating a human girl, I have huge reservations going into it. Luckily, Inseminoid stays classy and doesn't focus a lot of its attention on the act itself, but more so the outcome of the event. But we'll find all this out and more on the HellBound Horror Show. Inseminoid from 1981 was directed by the late Norman J. Warren, who has many of his films available to purchase at Vinegar Syndrome. Inseminoid specifically is sold by Scream Factory. I'm reviewing the Indicator release of Inseminoid that was released in the Bloody Terror box set, which contains 5 of Norman J. Warren's films. Can I just say that I absolutely love when distributors release director-inspired box sets. This stuff drives me wild. I love getting to know a director through their filmography. Anyways, let's dive into this film. The basic premise of Inseminoid is very Lovecraftian on paper. We have non-organic space crystals that break off into people's skin, causing them to become violent, irrational, and hungry for human flesh. Are the crystals causing some sort of chemical reaction, making the people lose their sense of being and become possessed? We get high level of thinking from the infected individuals. These aren't mindless zombies. It's an interesting concept, but one that Inseminoid fails to follow through on. Before we continue contemplating this film's shortcomings and then praising it for the things it does well, we should probably, start at the beginning and find out what this movie's about. Inseminoid focuses most of its runtime on a small research team on another planet. Now, I may have missed the main objective of the crew in the mission, but none of it is important for the film. All you need to know is that this is a fairly unexplored planet, these people are now stuck here, and crap is about to go down. While exploring, a crystal breaks, killing a crew member and injuring another. They take both back to the station where they try to do some tests. The injured crew member wakes up and begins to terrorize the station. He's abnormally strong and destructive. He dons his spacesuit, but leaves one of the airlocks open.
He's left that outer door open.
Well, he can't stay out there for long.
And that starts one of my biggest gripes with the film. How are the doors not automated? Star Trek from the 60s depicted doors being automatic in the future. Hydraulics were around in the 80s, so it's not far-fetched to think that a future colony on another planet could have automatic doors. Anyways, because one side of the pressure chamber of the airlock is open, no one can go outside or the whole station would be doomed to the vacuum of space. Luckily, there are a few crew members already outside doing some research. The one girl tries to walk back to close the door, but the possessed dude pushes her over. Her foot gets stuck and she is unable to get out. She is so close to the station, but unfortunately for her thermostat broke, meaning that her suit is quickly losing heat. If she doesn't fix it, she will freeze to death in minutes. No one can save her because of the whole, airlock thing. Automatic doors. Yeah, this whole thing would be avoided with automatic doors. Over the radio, some guy tries to walk her through the process of how to fix the thermostat on her suit. It seems pretty simple.
You must connect the blue and yellow leads. Repeat, connect the blue and yellow leads.
Yellow wire, blue wire, I guess it's too complicated for her to figure it out. The best way out of the situation in her eyes is to cut off her own leg. Doing so would cause a rip in her suit, exposing her air supply to the vacuum of space. She bypasses this by opening her mask and sticking the hose directly into her mouth. She begins to cut into her leg, but freezes to death before she cuts even an inch into her flesh. Somewhere, Jigsaw is laughing. And remember, this death could have easily been avoided with automatic doors. What a novel concept for the future to have automatic doors. One other lady walks back to the station moments after the accident. On her way back, the possessed guy comes around and she shoots him dead. About time we have someone smart in a horror movie. But of course, the whole space station is upset that she murdered a crew member. With all that death, you think the operations would stop, but no. They send out 2 more crew members to look for some crystals. The one guy is murdered by some alien creature, and the girl is taken back to the alien lab. And here we get the insemination scene. I was expecting something very lowbrow, and it is, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. We get the doctor from the ship giving her some kind of injection. I thought this would become a big reveal later in the film, but it doesn't really get resolved. Was the doctor working with the aliens? Were the aliens making her hallucinate the doctor being there? These are just a slew of questions that don't matter by the end of the film. Anyways, after the aliens fill her belly with babies, she gets back on the ship. She seems fine and fairly with it, except she's 2 months pregnant. Alien babies work fast. Eventually she goes crazy and gets all possessed, and then begins to kill all the crew members. It's a crazy finish with none of it making much sense and all of it looking bad. The action scenes in particular look lackluster. It's a mess of a film, but it was pretty entertaining. Inseminoid toes the line of being so bad it's good and an entertaining micro-budget sci-fi romp. The lighting and shot composition keep the film appealing, while the acting is a train wreck that you can't look away from. The plot is almost non-existent, and nothing ever gets resolved. The plot doesn't really matter. It's all about putting our characters in a situation where they can't escape. The alien influence is apparent, and Inseminoid fails to capture any of the magic that film had. Galaxy of Terror, another low-budget alien knockoff from 1981, did it better. Speaking of Galaxy of Terror, Inseminoid feels like a Roger Corman film. Not a very good one, but it has the same vibe that you would get from a Corman production. Inseminoid tried to have a shocking concept to gain an audience, but left that interesting idea at the wayside. Instead of dealing with alien babies, we instead get a crazy woman screaming and killing people for the majority of the runtime. Inseminoid can be a pretty fun ride if you're in the right mood. It's pretty inoffensive, pretty well made schlock. And that's all I have for tonight. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe, and take care, everyone.